Hey everyone, Ryan Young, KAATARO Jiu-Jitsu. I hope you're doing well. I want to do a little video on habits, right? How habits can affect us, even small habits can affect us through large-scale changes. But first, I want to kind of talk about KAATARO Jiu-Jitsu. We have 3 locations, Irvine, California, Flower Mound, Texas, Austin, Texas, and we'd love to have you come visit us. You can also visit us online at KAATAROJujitsuOnline.com so you can learn our KAATARO Jiu-Jitsu methodology of teaching Rickson Gracie's curriculum, right? In my mind, there's no better curriculum and there's no better methodology to teach somebody. And it's all about creating systems, which I've done other videos on. Systems for learning are more important than goals for, where to go on any given day. My goal for today is to do this, right? You could do that, but really you need to have a system. So let's kind of go over, oh, by the way, if you like the gear that we have, the KAATARO Jiu-Jitsu gear, and a lot of you have been purchasing it lately, you can go to our Shopify link, which should be in the notes below. By the way, subscribe and hit the like button if you like our videos. If you like this video at the end, please leave a like for us. It really helps us out. This helps the channels out so I can keep delivering this kind of content for you. So habits, right? A tiny habit can have huge ramifications over the long term. I'll give you an example. Let's say you smoke. You smoke as a kid, right? Kid meaning, today, when I was growing up, it was cigarettes. Today, it's all vaping, right? So kids are vaping in class and all that kind of stuff. Just like how kids, the same, other kids were smoking in classrooms or in the hallways, in the bathrooms, all that kind of stuff. I don't know if that happened to you, but it didn't happen to me because I went to, school didn't allow that. They'd expel you. But I know in other schools it happened all the time. So if you have a smoking habit that started when you were young, and it just started with just a little bit here and there, and it got to be, instead of it happening once a day, it happened, or even once a week. One in a week, it became, every other day, it became every day, once a day, but every day, and then it became, every hour, and next thing you know, you're addicted to it, right? Well, with cigarette smoking, we all know the lung damage that cigarettes do over the long run, as well as the tar that you get into your lungs that, ends up hurting you over the long run. And it all started with your very first puff when you were a kid, right? What's another one? It could be drugs, right? You could say cigarettes are just another form of drugs, like alcohol and all that other stuff that, we get addicted to. And it starts off with a bad habit or a bad incident, which becomes a bad habit over time. On the other hand, we have good habits, right? Jiu-Jitsu is a good habit to go to, so long as it doesn't affect the rest of your life. That are, important things like going to work, right? I can work today or I can do Jiu-Jitsu, right? In that case, if you are independently wealthy and don't need to work, it really doesn't matter. But if your training takes away from your time earning, so that it turns out now you're having trouble paying the rent, having trouble paying for food, having trouble paying gas to fill your car up, and just making ends meet, then the Jiu-Jitsu, unfortunately, is a bad habit. But Jiu-Jitsu overall is a great habit for all of us because it gets our bodies working and moving, which is what we need to do in general. As we get older, especially, we tend to be more sedentary. But something like Jiu-Jitsu forces you to move. It also helps to make your brain work more because Jiu-Jitsu is like a puzzle. And you have to be able to figure stuff out and be creative for how to get something done. Now you have your opponent, which now you have that chess match type of dynamic, right? Trying to, fake him out, go for one thing. Let's say you go for a choke, get him to stop the choke, and there's the arm waiting to take the arm. You could take the arm and finish him, or maybe he even sees that the arm coming, and now you go for a scissor sweep. Simple as that, right? So by doing something like Jiu-Jitsu, it's a great habit because it helps you in a lot of aspects of life. My contention is that the longer you do Jiu-Jitsu and you conquer your fears, your inhibitions, your anxieties, you will be able to deal with other stuff in life outside of Jiu-Jitsu. Good habit, right? Now, here's something to think about. If you're in your training, you don't have a habit of always learning the system, right? I.e. the KAATARO Jiu-Jitsu methodology, teaching the Rickson Gracie curriculum, right? You got the curriculum, the system. The curriculum is what you need to learn. The system is how you learn the curriculum, right? It's just a methodology. If you're lazy in your conquering of the system to learn your said curriculum, that becomes a habit. And to do well in jiu-jitsu, you have to be diligent. You have to have a habit of diligence in learning the system, and then once you learn it, implementing the system. For us, one of our system components we call the Kama Jiu-Jitsu ladder, and that's the order in which we teach you. It's called a linear methodology for teaching jiu-jitsu rather than circular. Circular is a system too. You could have a curriculum and you have it broken out into, let's say, 36 lessons, right? That's the original Gracie Jiu-Jitsu, 36 lessons. And they would have you go through lesson 1 today, next time you come in, lesson 2, next time you come in, lesson 3. You know, this is when it was all done in private form. Group class is very hard to do. What group classes, what they'll do is they'll have certain days, the schools that are very disciplined and diligent about their curriculum. Let's see, today will be lesson 1, tomorrow lesson 2, so on and so forth. Oh, they may do it for an entire week. So it could be a 36-week type system, right? 1 week is lesson 1. You're just going to do it over and over and over again. No matter how many times you come to class, you're just going to do lesson 1, right? So in that way, you get a lot of repeating of what the concepts that you need to learn, which is good, right? You know, the more repetition you can get, the better. Now, those systems where you just go in a circle, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, all the way to 36, and you don't repeat lesson 1 until you conquer it before going to lesson 2, then it gets a little bit difficult to be proficient in jiu-jitsu. It takes discipline for you to say, nope, I'm still on lesson 1, I'm going to work lesson 1. I say it takes discipline because most people want to think, okay, I learned it, I'm good, give me lesson 2. And then you learn lesson 2 and you think, okay, I'm good, give me lesson 3, without doing the necessary repetition. Remember, your system of learning, sorry, something about me. Your system of learning jiu-jitsu should be, in my view, should be with regard to repeating and repetition over and over and over until you cannot do it wrong, right? You do it initially to get it right, and you continue doing it so you cannot get it wrong. Right? Think about that one for a second. Right? Back it up if you need to hear it again. So the only way to do that is to go through a linear method. But if you go lesson 1 today and 36 days later, you go to lesson 1 again, then you got no repetition. You got it only in the day that you were doing it, and you, I would argue, didn't get it enough. Now, if you're an extraordinary learner and athlete, then you could do 1 and do it for a day or 2 and you move on and you'll have it in your central nervous system. But most people are not like that. So what you need to do is think about discipline and diligence to make your jiu-jitsu better. So one more little example that I can give you. So let's say we're gonna fly from Los Angeles to New York City, okay? And your goal should always be to focus on New York City. Now, as you're flying, right, your plane's gonna go this way. So you need to check right away, make sure your bearings are correct and get you back in. So you start flying back in, but it starts to go this way. So you need to check again and you do this. So a plane gets to its destination like this, so long as you're making corrections all the way to the final destination. But let's say, as you're flying, as you're taking off, you get thrown off by like 3 degrees. And that's it, right? Well, this going across the continental United States would mean just 3 degrees, right? Would mean that you would miss New York City and end up in Washington, D.C. Just 3 degrees leaving from Los Angeles and heading toward New York. So it takes a small little change, 3 degrees in your flight path, that puts you hundreds of miles off course. So now let's go to our training. If you do something just a little bit wrong, it can really mess you up in the long run. So you need to be very diligent about making sure you're doing things perfect. Remember, practice doesn't necessarily make perfect, but perfect practice makes perfect, and that's much more important. Anyway, that's all I got for you. Like and subscribe if you haven't done so. It really helps us out. And come and visit us at KamaJujitsuOnline.com. Also come visit us on our Shopify link, which is in the links below. If there's any questions, go ahead and comment below. Tell me what you think, and we'll answer your questions if you have any. Right? Take care. Happy training. Bye now.